Greetings everyone, my name is FlareBlitzed here and welcome back to the visual novel of Perseverance. This is quite a very short mini hiatus that I had, mainly because at the moment it was very hot in the UK, but now it's died down, it's much cooler and it's much breezier as well, which means it's an overall better time for everyone. After the voicemail stopped playing, I just stood there, staring at the screen. I guess I needed a moment to process what had happened. As I snapped out of my stupor, I knew that I had to find Nat. So where we saved before, it doesn't exactly save you at the very moment that you decided to save. It saves you like checkpoints, so if you save in one spot, then it just saves you to a checkpoint of some sort. Nat? What? My first instinct was to call her, but my phone had had enough. The goddamn machine broke completely. The screen went blank and it won't respond to me pressing the keys. Odin seems to sense my distress. He came closer, woofing. Woof. Do you want to help me, buddy? I had little choice. I took Odin and went off. I knew that Natalie had been coming for me, and I knew the route she must have taken. It was a long road, but I had no other means of finding her. With the dog at my side, I clung to what little hope I had left. I scarcely remember getting into the car and setting off. Sweat trickled down my back the entire way. I wasn't speeding only because I worried I might miss her. Eventually, I found our roadster, crashed beside the road. I parked there and went out. Natalie was nowhere to be seen. My heart skipped a beat and I scanned the surroundings. My thoughts scrambled. I couldn't bear the thought that the last memory Natalie would have of me would be that of an absent jerk. That our argument would be the last time we saw each other. I had to find her. I had to find her and make things right. But for all my determination and effort, Odin was the one who found her. He darted off the road and into the forest. I followed. I didn't think much. It was an instinct. I guess I trusted him. It didn't take long. We didn't even move far from the car before I saw her, stumbling between the trees. She didn't seem to recognize me. Her eyes were dazed, her skin dead pale. I didn't know what to do. She was wounded. I could see it. A piece of her shirt wrapped around her arm. I'd left her again. I wasn't there when she needed me the most. What was I to tell her? Let's calm her. Nat! Jack! Where are you? Jack! Natalie! I'm right here. It's going to be alright. I'm here. I cradled her. She shook in my arms, but calmed down a little. Jack! Is that you? Yes, it's me, sweetie. I'm so sorry I broke the car. Forget about the car, silly. Everything will be fine. I could see her shiver. At first I thought it was because of the car crash or her wound. Then realization hit me. We were in the middle of a forest, the place that Natalie truly feared. Yet she still came here for me, after all I said and done. She was an angel of courage. What happened? In the hospital you wouldn't believe me. Try me. They brought in a young woman with strange symptoms. Weak, yet explosive. She had a bite mark on her forearm. We thought she might have autodestructive impulses. She said she was hungry, but she wouldn't touch any food. We put her on a drip. We didn't know how else to help her. One day, Dr. Jacobs came to check up on her, and she snapped. She scratched and bit him and the nurse who tried to restrain her. She dashed out of the room and attacked several other patients. When the security guard tried to shot her, she jumped out of a window from third story. Then she fled. I've no idea what happened to her. We took care of Dr. Jacobs and the patients, but things got weird. I felt queasy. I didn't like where it was going. Still, I had to ask. Weird how? They got terrible fever. We couldn't bring it down and... Sheriff declared a manhunt. He mobilized officers. I think the military got involved too. They set up checkpoints. For some reason it seems like they're trying to keep people in. Then there was that woman. It's hard to say who she was. I swear to God. I was sure she was my co-worker, but it turned out she wasn't. I don't know who she was. What about you? Are you hurt? I'm fine. I was worried about you. Why didn't you call me back? My throat clenched when I thought about what had happened in the morning, how Natalie patient ended up. I shouldn't lie to Nat. There was already too much bad blood between us. She deserves my honesty. Then again, after all what she went through, would it be even more cruel to tell her what had happened? I swallowed and decided to tell her everything. I told her how I found Odin and how he broke my phone. What came next was more difficult. I had to tell Nat what became of the patient, how I found her, and that she was too far gone to save her. Then I had to shoot her in self-defense. If Natalie had been pale before, now she was sickly. I didn't know if because of what Jane had turned into, or because of what I'd done. At any rate, it wasn't the worst of it. Natalie interrupted me only once. God, I didn't think. How could that happen? I've no idea. It was as if she turned into an animal. But she was human, Jack. Only just hours ago. I know, Nat, but listen. I didn't have a choice. I had to defend myself. I understand. She attacked me, Nat. Not the other way round. Remember that. The worst part is what happened to her. I had to confess to killing that woman. As if she was a morbid animal. I didn't try to sugar it. No, sugarcoating things is bad. Yes, I'd thought that it was mercy, but it was still a kill. I would never forget the look in Natalie's eyes. It haunts me to this day. The disbelief, the pain. Still, Nat was a strong woman. She hid her emotions quickly. We both had more important things to do than dwelling on the past. What happened with Hope? Is she still at home? God, no, I wouldn't leave her alone. I took her with me, but she was scared, and I thought, I didn't know what happened to you. I was worried we might be found, so I dropped her at Bob's. He promised to take care of her, and I trust him. We're supposed to meet outside the town. Well, shoot me. For a moment back then, I felt relief. I thought that regardless of what happened to me and Nat, at least our daughter was safe. I didn't know anything. What happened to Bob? What the hell happened here? End of part 1. Whoa. So that's... Oh, that's it? That's the end of part 1 of this game. And yeah, we're going to roll through these credits. So, I'm very keen to play part 2 when it comes out. I think it is really well made. And it's got quite a unique artistic value to it, which I believe can be appreciated. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to look through all the other options in the game and see where they all lead up. Starting off with I would say start off with the late one, you know, either to calm her down or everything like that. Is there an option to auto skip? Is there an option where you can just skim through the game? Okay, there wasn't any controls in my emails that they sent me, but you know, it doesn't matter in that case because I believe this game was made in Unity engine rather than Wimpy, and in most Wimpy games there's like an option where you can just fast scroll through the game and it gets to an option eventually. But there's nothing in the game itself that allows you to just skip through all of the text willy-nilly. And I don't know if there are any controls which allow you to do that, but, you know, we'll see what happens. Snap at her. Nat! Jack! Where are you, Jack? Nat, listen to me. It's me. I'm here. Snap out of it. Who are you? She didn't look at me. Only through me, as if I was a ghost. It's me. What happened to you? I need to warn Jack. Stop this nonsense. Look at me. Look at me, Nat. Jack? Yes, it's me, honey. I hate you. Blah. Why did you leave me? Honey, please calm down. I can see a shiver. At first I thought it was because of a car crash on her wound. Then realization hit me. Middle of the forest, yep. Angel, what happened in the hospital? She wouldn't believe me. What a young woman. Bite mark. That. Okay. Third story. Patience. Felt queasy. Weird how. Got terrible fever. Manhunt. Checkpoints around the premises. Co-worker. Nope. Yeah, I'm fine. Honesty. What about if you just keep the truth to yourself? I told her I found Odin how he broke my phone. What came next was more difficult. I had to lie. Keep my face straight and tell her which wasn't true. I didn't think of anything elaborate. I just told Nat that I spent my entire day hunting with my new dog. There wasn't much to it. She didn't have a reason not to believe me. Yet inside I felt like the worst coward on earth. Still, there were other things we had to focus on. What happened with Hope? Is she still at home? God, no. I wouldn't leave her alone. I took her with me, but she was scared for. Happened to you, word might be found at Bob's, took care of her. I don't think Bob, well, regardless, his daughter's safe and, yeah, that woman just came and attacked her. What the hell happened here? So the woman must have came here first before getting to us. Otherwise, it wouldn't really fit in with the case because Natalie would have to be with Hope here before the woman who was like a zombie attacked both Bob and the other guy that was trying to get to Odin. That's what I believe anyways, in that order, so what happened there? What happened there? I don't know. Okay, so what were the other options in the game? I believe, yeah, let's just go to the very first choice in the game. Don't pay much attention to what's going on. Yeah, we could apologize. Achievement unlocked, good, bad, good. No, you meant it. I thought we had left this terrible memory behind us. I thought you were over it. But I was wrong, wasn't I? After so many years, you still hold it against me. I don't think having, well, going through these options actually has a detrimental effect on the story. Besides when it comes to the build-up. So I think the only huge main choice in the game which determines the story outcome to differ is the option where it was either defend yourself or I think I know the other options now. Shouldn't have been so rough with her. So much drama. Don't think there's anything else to this. What would happen if we persist? What's the matter? Did you really think I would forget? That I would just dismiss what happened to our... Stop! Please stop! Is this really what this whole thing is about? I'm not letting you spoil our daughter. It's not what I meant at all. God, you obviously don't trust me. You never did. It all makes sense now. I know I won't change your mind about hunting. You'll do as you please. Just be careful of our daughter. She's all I have. And I know that you've just broken me. Again. Take it like a macho. I don't care about other men. Oh, really? Something tells me otherwise. Bab, I know I'm the best man around, and you know it too. Besides, even if you're attracted to him, there's no way in the world he would survive your constant nagging. I need to get ready. Yeah, I've got to run some errands too. Don't forget your sandwiches. I won't. Thanks, Nat. I love you. I know you do, Jack. Call me once you reach the cabin. It is a little annoying that it doesn't save you at the very moment that you decide to save the game or confess your feelings. Maybe. You know how strong he is. There's something mysterious about him too. A mysterious man with dark hair and dark eyes. I was watching him change attire with his big, grisly hands. He seemed so powerful yet gentle at the same time. He was so focused and determined to do his job. Oh, just thinking about him makes me... Stop torturing me, woman. Ha ha ha. You were jealous after all. So cute. I need to get ready. Yeah, you say that, don't you now? Okay, so the garage. Buy more booze. Okay, so this time you can. I might as well keep a spare bottle. Let's have it. Worst case scenario, I'll be dead drunk for 3 days. Okay then. A flashlight, a bandage, some batteries, energy bars, and a bottle of whiskey. Here you go. Thanks, man. Keep a change. Bob? Yeah? You said there are different kinds of strangers in the world. I thought you were right. Cool. There's this girl as well. What are you doing here? What do you mean? Where's the rest of your crew? Excuse me? You're not going to tell me that you walked here all by yourself? What if I did? It would mean that you might cause trouble. Are you here to cause trouble, whatever your name is? My name is Jane, and no, I'm not here to cause trouble. Who are you to question me like that anyway? A guy who can smell trouble a mile away. More like somebody who harasses strangers. You shouldn't do it, you know. Since when asking so many questions is considered harassment. If it is you who are impolite, I live here, alright? I'm just looking out for my fellow citizens. My name's Jack. It's not every day that somebody simply takes a walk and ends up in Grey Valley. Grey Valley? Funny name, never heard of it. Is it pretty? Okay. Do I want to help you out? This could be another thing as well. If you had the money or the food to actually eat, give... But I want to give her my jacket! No. You say that as if this is like a detrimental choice. This could be a detrimental choice. There's a jacket in my car, wait here. Here, you can have it. Thanks a lot. I'll borrow it for now, but I'll just send it back when I get home. I don't think you are such a kind person, Jack. You remind me of someone. Of whom? I can't remember his name. He was a guy working at the science facility. They were testing some new medicine and I volunteered. I remembered how he looked kind of glum, like he was disappointed. He would stare at me through a glass window. I thought it was cute, as if he was too shy to speak. Anyways, would you give me your address so I can send your jacket back? Sure, I'll write it down for you. Here. Thanks, Joe. I'll send it back with some gifts. My name's not Joe, it's Jack. It's Jack. Listen, talk to Bob at the station there. Ask him to fetch Hal Guilford for you, okay? He's a sheriff around here. He'll help you. Hal Guilford, got it. Gosh, I'm so hungry. I need you to eat something. You'll figure something out. Sure, see you around, Joe. Right, so if I don't give her the jacket, then it would be more resorted to... no, if I be more polite rather than question her straight away, it would lead to that. So there are definitely detrimental outcomes to certain things. Let's just disappoint her. I'm sorry, but that's impossible. Why? Well, we can't just catch animals. They would be miserable living with us. They need to be free. But we have such a nice house and a lot of space in the backyard, and I would take good care of them. I know you would. Still, it's impossible to tame an animal that was born in the wilderness. It will always long for its freedom. That's where it belongs. I guess you're right, Dad. I know how much you love animals, but it just wouldn't work, Hope. Then maybe we could at least get a dog? Always wanted one. Yeah. Let's drink to our heart's content. We were never close, you and I. But I still wish we'd spend more time together. I always hoped that you would take me into the world and show me its beauty. I always hoped for us to travel. I thought you'd be my guide on a tour filled with stunning landscapes and exciting dangers. But you were always more of a provider than a father. I wish you could have met Hope and Natalie. I feel like you would have liked her. She's as tough as nails. That's what I love about her. Yeah, you both have this no-nonsense attitude. Well, at least towards things you consider nonsense, which is everything most of the time, yeah? I know you dedicated yourself to providing a comfortable life for me and Mother. I can respect that. Time in the kitchen, early in the morning before you took off work. Only times you would really talk to me. I wish you taught me about being a man. Wouldn't always see eye to eye. Okay. Okay. Oh dear, let's just go all the way. But you know what's even worse? I used you. Used your sickness as an excuse. I wasn't smart enough to get a degree, or so obvious, or too stupid for studies. Yet you and Mum sacrificed so much so I could at least try. Both wanted me to move out of Grey Valley. You used it to call it the end of the road. Failing would mean betraying your trust. Wasting your sacrifice. Wasn't allowed to fail, so I quit before I even had a chance to fail. using it as an excuse to abandon my education. Had a chance to disappoint myself. Gosh. Let's go away, I miss you, but at the same time I hate you. Because when I look at myself, all I can see is you, the worst parts of you. I am my father's son. Well, bless me, father. I didn't even know what my own daughter was like. Didn't know what she needs. Didn't know her at all. It's like I've been daydreaming for the last couple of years. Unaware that hope became something different from what I wanted it to be. Up until now, I saw what I wanted to see. I wanted it to be me, because I beloved this way that I could make up for your mistakes. I stopped trying to teach her anything. I was trying to shape her, ignoring who she already was. Instead of supporting her, I forced on her all the things I didn't get from you. What the hell, man? Trying so hard not to repeat your mistakes, and yet I fail every single day. One good thing about all of this is that we created a bond, and that's something worth fighting for. Gosh. Things would have been different if you still been here. I would have left for college, yeah, and I would have come back here, but I'll still be in love with Natalie. This much would never change, no matter what. But if you were still around, maybe I would have had a chance to cope with all that happened. What all that had happened later. Maybe I would have learned earlier that a role of a father is not to have all the answers, but to support the child along the way. And with your support, maybe I wouldn't. Maybe my son wouldn't. One final sip. He wouldn't have died that way he did. Maybe if I just paid more attention, Sam would have appeared here. It's all your fault, you. Ugh, you stupid. You haven't taught me a spat. How the hell was I supposed to know? How was I supposed to be ready? Liquid gold. That's too much excitement for one day. I didn't feel like indulging myself in a drunken trip down memory lane any longer. Besides, I was looking forward to some quiet time the next day. Put the bottle away and dozed off. Couldn't even remember when I fell asleep. Well, to be honest, I couldn't remember much from the evening before. Booze and weariness takes you out quickly. I woke up with a terrible headache and my throat dry as a bone. I didn't remember the last time I had a hangover like this. I walked up to the sink, turned on the water and drank straight from the tap. When I finally raised my head, I looked out the window only to realise that the sun was already high. I just wasted my first day. And here... the dog is still to be out there somewhere. Overpower her? I didn't know what was going on or what was wrong with her, but when I saw her for the first time, she was just a confused passerby, feeling cold. I couldn't possibly shoot her. I was unable to bring myself to do it. I decided to meet her head on. And regrettably, instantly, when we clashed, I realised she was much stronger than I had anticipated. It was like wrestling with a wild bear. Her teeth came dangerously close to my cheek. I had to use both of my hands just to keep her jaws away. She kept scratching my arms and neck. I was ill prepared for a fight like this. I had to do something, otherwise I would end up like the other guy. Okay, dokie. Use a knife or push her away. I gathered all my strength, placed my leg behind her and pushed her to the ground. Her head hit against a stone with a loud thump. Ooh, I jumped away. I expected her to rise immediately. She never did. At first I thought that she blacked out. As I approached her again, I noticed traces of blood on the ground. Yeah, her head hit with a stone. So, there isn't anything hugely detrimental to the story of the game. I would just like to... okay. Run away, try to get help her. Ooh, that'll be a bad. I'm going to try that out actually. Yeah, but I think that's quite a bad omen. Try to help her. Try to talk to her. As crazy as it was at the time, I tried to talk to her. When I reached her face, she grinned so madly that I almost fell to the ground. But there's nothing human about her anymore. She was a wild animal. Injured and ready to attack anything that gets close. Check the other guy. I stopped and looked around. The guy whom Jane attacked earlier wasn't moving. I thought about approaching him, but I realised there was no point. His throat was bit to shreds. Blood was everywhere. The sight alone was horrible enough to make me stay away. I turned to the woman again. She was in poor shape, but rage was still there. Use the bandage. I remember the bandage I had with me. I pulled it out from my pocket, but I wasn't sure how I was supposed to apply it. After all, Jane had killed a man and lunged at me seconds before. She still had this wild look in her eyes, as if she wasn't there. Stop the bleeding. As I watched the blood come out, my first instinct was to help her. I leaned forward for a second, but I'm forgetting whom I was dealing with. Jane screamed and tried to scratch me with her hands. She started to kick, but I could see she was in great pain. It didn't stop her from trying to reach my throat. There was no way for me to help her. I had to think of something. Use the knife. I reached my pocket knife. It was still sharp enough to go for human skin. I looked at the blade, and then at the woman lying on the ground before me. Cutting her throat wouldn't be self-defense anymore, it would be murder. I wasn't a murderer. I had to think of a way of somehow reach her and try to stop her bleed. Stop her bleeding, yeah, use the rifle. I held my rifle ready to shoot again. Should it be necessary? There was no telling if I had to manage to incapacitate her effectively. I wanted to help her, but I kept my weapon close. Came up with a plan. First aid. I used a knife to cut the bandage in two. I knew I had to at least keep her arms off me if I were ready to help her. Her teeth were still an issue. I walked behind her and put the rifle into her mouth. She clenched her teeth around it and started to wheeze louder. I know it wasn't pleasant. When she tried to scratch me again, I grabbed her hand and pulled them together. I used the bandage to tie them firmly. With one hand free, I started pressing the wound with the second part of the bandage. It was still extremely difficult as she keeps kicking and wiggling. Finally, after a few seconds, she stopped. I looked around. I realized there wasn't anyone nearby beside the corpse. I didn't have my phone with me. And as I pressed on the wound, I noticed a small note sticking out of her pocket. It said, "You will change the world forever." What was that about? There was no way for me to help her. The blood kept sucking through the bandage. I could sense her breath going weaker and more shallow. She blinked. She tried to move a bit, but there was no use of me pressing her wound and firmly holding both her hands. This couldn't go on. Search her. I had to know what was going on. My first thought was to look for any piece of a clue I could find. I searched her pockets, but the only thing I found was a torn paper bracelet from the hospital. Then I remembered. She must have been that junky case Natalie had told me about on the phone. My mind started to race. Had Natalie and this woman met? Was Natalie safe? What happened at the hospital? I had to know. Still, I had to deal with the woman first. Search her again. I took another close look. She looked normal, apart from the eyes. No change on her skin or face. I wondered how she managed to take a bite off the other guy with her own teeth. Was a human being really capable of such a thing? Apart from a paper bracelet, she didn't have anything else on her. No papers, no wallet, no ID card. I looked at her arms. Besides all the blood, I could see several needle marks, as she had been on a drip for a long time, even though she was a patient Natalie had told me about. It didn't explain all the marks. I wonder how she got them. Was there anything else I could do? One final look. As I looked at her again, I had a feeling there was something more. There was another mark on her forearm, a wound. It seems as if someone had bitten her pretty hard. Who could have done that? Had she attacked yet another person? Had somebody bitten her in self-defense? Or had she bitten herself? But why? That was crazy. I don't feel like examining here anymore. Leave her. The woman was wheezing and trembling. Her eyes moved around rapidly. I couldn't stand to look anymore. I made sure she wouldn't hurt anybody else. There was no need for me to fight her anymore. I closed my eyes and walked away. As I was walking, I could still hear her breathing, choking and coughing. It felt terrible, but I knew I couldn't shoot her. I had no idea what was going on. There was no way for me to help her. The first thought that came to me was Natalie. Okay, I don't think there's anything else to accomplish when it comes to the game. So, White Knight is the only thing, and then Bad Move, You Aren't Immortal, you know, is the only one left. That could be the case if you tried to apply the knife before she was knocked out, so that could be something. And White Knight is probably to do with giving the junkie case food or money to be able to get food. Well, be able to cure hunger, basically, in that case. Heartless, yep. Like a stone. Good, bad, good, make it better. I think they're more for achievement cases, and I don't think they have any sort of major story differences when it comes to going through the game. So when it comes to going through all the way to the end of a chapter, none of the choices that you make have a huge impact on the story. It just is a case where you get different different pieces of text in the sentence, but when it goes down to the main part of the story, all the text is the same. Unless, of course, in chapter 2 and the others, the past choices that you make have a effect on that. But we'll just have to see and wait for when that happens. So, this has been part 1 of Perseverance, folks. I'll be playing this game again when part 2 is released. Thank you so much for watching, and see you all in the next time. Have a good day and take care of yourselves.